My check. All right. All right. Show started. Well, big up, family. This is your host, Rap Raven. Welcome to the Black Man Broadcast. This is a 226 show. Let's now segue to the PDF that we know best. Where is it? Oh, wait a minute. Use, assist, choose. Hold on. Oh, sorry, it's wrong again. Sorry, fam. What am I using? Am I using Firefox? Oh, I'm not using Firefox, am I? No, I'm not. Oh, my bad. Sorry, fam. I'm just trying to get my PDF. It should be straightforward, but you know what I mean? Taking my sweet time, if anything. That's a bit old. Okay. Ah, I think I found it. No, I haven't. Oh, evil, whatever. We'll carry on. All right. Well, you can hear me. I am up there. Yep. So that's cool. So yeah, let's go through as we normally go through. So you cannot see the thing at the moment. Let me. I'm trying to think of what have I updated. I've updated a lot. So tell a friend we're live. We have started the show. And I'm gonna give you the Instagram to follow. I'll post it in there now. Big up, brother Dominic as well, contributor. Big up everyone else live and everyone else who'll be here in the future time. We're listening on a pre-recorded show or live. You're always welcome. Don't forget Black Man Broadcast. Okay, so we're gonna start as we always start, and that is with the triple tragedies. I'm just giving. Let me give you a whole screen. That might be a better idea. Yeah, let's see if that works. Present whole screen. Okay. Let's try this one. Let's still can't do it. How terrible. You know what? I actually think I'm using. I think I'm actually using this, guys. If I can't forgive, I think I'm using the wrong thing. Hold on. Yeah, that should be right. Yeah, sorry about that. Cool. All right, cool. Blah 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 blah. All right, choose. Oh, you know what it is? They've updated it. That's what it is. They've updated the software. How cool is that? Sorry, family. Yeah, the thing is when they are when they update, they know that I should get a little brief. So let's try it now that they've got their new update. I'm gonna start this one more time. All right, where are you? Let's find the fantastic thing. There it is. Double click on that. It opens up like so. All right, yeah, I found it. So that should give you guys enough time to actually come in and sing. And now we've got it. Excellent. Cool. Technical. Cool. Share screen. There we go. Window. Choose the window you want. And there it is. There, that should work. Yeah. And share this window. They've definitely updated that. Yes, they have. You can see it now. Yeah, so I'm some waffling. We start with the triple tragedies, and that is white supremacy, anti-black racism, and the Ma'afa. And unfortunately, these three catastrophes really have contributed to what we know as the double dilemma, which is we are despised and we are disorganized. We say this every week, but we try to ram it in your head. But there's one solution to this that we're promoting, and that is Black Betterment. And that's a lifestyle of black people continuously helping black people whenever it's constructively possible. All right. Now, we send the link out, and we always invite any brothers to jump on or sisters to jump on to discuss. Or if you do, please don't forget about the discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. We call it the 4D values. If you can use these, it makes speaking just a little bit more easier. Big up Melanated Goddess, very important sister. All right, and if we can try not to use any kind of derogatory language when we're talking to each other, it just minimizes anxiety and makes us find solutions that bit more easier. So today's topic is Marcus Fakana's case study. We discussed why Marcus Fakana was arrested in Dubai. For those who don't know, I mean, it happened last week. I think it happened 4 weeks ago, but maybe he was arrested. Maybe his term was given a week ago. But so basically, there was a young 18-year-old brother from the UK. He was in Dubai with his parents and met an Indian girl at 17 at the time. She's 18 now, and they engaged in some kind of intimate relationship. And the mother wasn't best pleased, found out, and rang the Dubai authorities on him, and he's been locked up. It's not good. We're going to find out more about that. And also, we did say last week we're going to look through it, and that is the women in the Haitian Revolution. We discussed the Black women's contribution in the Haitian Revolution. The thing is, we're going to have to talk about the Haitian Revolution as a whole generally, because maybe not everyone knows too much about it. So we've got some stuff to update, and then we'll throw in some of the sisters' contribution just at the end. Right, so what should we do? Also, one thing I was thinking about as well, I'll talk about it now and again. I got messaged by some gentleman. I can't remember what the topic was about. Something I can't remember what it was about, but he then said he was a white guy. I go, oh, okay, cool. I did wonder. He seemed very invested in the conversation, even though he was a white guy and it was a black topic, which I did get a lot in Speaker's Corner, to be honest. And a lot of the black guys who come from Speaker's Corner, I was on one of their pages, so you have a lot of those kind of like down with the brown kind of Europeans or whatever. And I think he was saying some stuff, and I said, is it okay if I use him as a case study? But before I said that, I thought, oh yeah, we don't actually invite non-black people on the show. And we did say that one day we would probably try to do case studies of non-black people. And obviously we've had non-black people jump on before trolling and try to sabotage, which is very normal, but not actually as a guest. So he said he's dealing with some issues and he would like to come on, and I said he doesn't have to tell his name, and he said he wants to tell his name and he wants to show his face, so I have to do that. But that's what he said in a couple of weeks, whatever. But I came to ask, is that something that would be cool? What I was trying to demonstrate to him, and what more so not to him but to us, and to use live people to come on, is to demonstrate that collectively black people have no friends. And I think it's very handy when you let non-black people in to discuss this, to unpack this, and their intention is to demonstrate that they're allies. And my intention is to demonstrate that black people have no allies, and how that conversation works is important. But I also have to let everyone know that that's my intentions, because a lot of people come on and think I'm blindsiding them or something like that, or I'm a mean person online but not offline, something like that. But yeah, I think that might, let me know what you think about that. Case studying people who insist they want to be black allies, and my intention is to highlight that is not correct. I've never really seen a collective allyship, or whenever requests are being made for activities that could benefit black people, these are not the activities that non-black people wish to engage in. So it's interesting. So we might do that. That might be more anxiety, not anxiety, but I guess anxiety / algorithm-based conversation. They usually flow, don't they, all that kind of stuff. But might be interesting. I don't know if we're going to do it or not, but that was something. So that was that. Anyway, while we're pondering that, we're going to look at why you decide if you're going to jump in or not. Let's look at some random videos. I might just play two, then go, because we've got quite a bit of videos today. So let me play two videos. There was this sister. Let me just play one from Brother Claude Anderson. We might have played this before, but it's always good, to go for it again.
To integrate, and integrate killed us for a number of reasons. I'll try to get these points in very quickly. One, first of all, integration is nothing but a new modified form of segregation. Only thing now, you've broken your people down to a smaller unit, and you defied the first premise of power, which is you no longer have numerical power. Now you're in little small groups all around large urban areas. That's point one that's going to knock our brains out. Point two is that the white society maintains what we call a racial balance, or what we call a tipping point, which says that I will accept black folk primarily at 0, but I would tolerate them anywhere from up to 5 to 8% of any given population. But the minute they cross that 5 to 8% population, it is no longer integration, it's now invasion, and I must take action against it. So I'll either take my kids out of school, put my house up for sale, move my business to the suburbs, or I will resign from the organization, okay? Because I'm not going to let him get that dominance over me. Third thing that immigration is done for you. It destroyed all your major businesses because they used the highway system to drive expressways right down the center of every black community in this country.
Clarence has always been given the work for years. Let's go check him out. But that makes me segue into a sister I saw, a sister from the UK. She was saying something, and let me hear what she said. I didn't hear all of it, but I heard a bit of it. Let me hear what she was talking about. Here it is.
Banned from TikTok Live for speaking about black liberation and the fact that I believe that black people should be able to have their own things without other races infiltrating our culture, our traditions, our lifestyles. We should be able to have our own black banks, our own black universities, our own black dentists, our own black dentist surgeries without there being a problem, without being called separatists or divisionists, or we're just as bad as the racists we are accusing. I got banned for that. And then when we speak about this stuff, when we speak about black liberation, you get people going, oh, what about Martin Luther King? You're a separatist. What about what he said? He'd be so unhappy. I'm not going to lie. Martin Luther King only wrote I Have a Dream so that he could have relations with his white mistress behind his black wife.
I would ask the brothers and sisters, we must really be careful how we talk about some of the ancestors. Whether what they're saying is true or not, I'm not too sure that is true or not, but we should always be wary.
Life's back. Yeah. Martin Luther King also changed his mind on I Have a Dream and wrote another letter just before he died to the president at the time. You should read it. Then maybe you wouldn't bring him up as a defense mechanism when black people are speaking about anything to do with.
We did unpack that before. I think I've still got the list here where whenever people want to disparage black progress, they always take certain quotes from certain people, and there's usually two figures in history operating in unison. One is more kind of like integrationist-esque, and one is more separatist-esque. They will always go for the integrationist kind of like rhetoric to an extent, and that's what I think this is unpacking.
Black liberation or having things for themselves. I want to be able to speak about black liberation openly because it is so important to me. Being a political Rastafarian, being someone who heavily believes in black liberation and someone who heavily believes in Garveyism as well, I have realised that there is no safe space online for black people to come together and speak.
So I don't know who his sister is, but maybe, because we did say we're going to make a database. Maybe I should be banned, so you probably can't find it, but I should probably try to reach out to her, and maybe us try to create that kind of safe space. But my interest of this video was more so talking tactics, as in like how to word things to obviously not get kicked off to your social network, but also how to word it so it can be digested easier from the masses, but also how it can minimize infiltrations through people who allegedly want to help or not help. So that was my interest of listening. Well, let me carry on to the sister.
Speak about these subjects, to speak about black history, black sociology, black psychology, black everything, because everything has a black.
As she says, help us create the Pan-African lifestyle. Well, I actually make apps for a living, so maybe I should approach this, see if that's what it is here. See if I can put the link, I'll find that. So I'm happy to contribute my time if that's what the goal is.
That division, trust me. We can't, we're not able to openly, wholeheartedly speak about these things in a safe environment where we're not getting reported and things like that, or people, aren't trying to infiltrate, what we're saying and insert themselves into our discussions. And I think it's time for us to maybe come together and crowdfund and look at how we can start a black social media platform where the first requirement to be a part of that app is that you are of a black origin. And how do we verify that? We verify that by how Hinge verifies profiles, by how dating apps verify profiles. In order to have a profile, you need to, prove that you are who you say you are on sign up. And I do think that's something that we should start looking at, a safe place for us to come together and build community and work on rebuilding community. Because remember, we are only just out of them shackles. If you look at the timeline properly, we're just out of those shackles. So we have a lot to do, a lot to rebuild, a lot to discuss. And
make a note to see if I can find the sister. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, funny enough, you don't really have to really go through that. Like some of the some of the basic techniques is just you start your own network so you know people, and then you have invite only kind of stuff.
We have to connect, and we have to do the grassroots as well. We have to start grassroots stuff. We need to have our connection.
Also, and she's from a Russian standpoint background, so she's always going to get pushed back. And usually, I suspect if she was to then talk about this stuff to brothers and sisters as well as outside community, she would come from a very powerful standpoint, and and what we are and what we were, this kind of stuff like this. But really, I know this is very shocking and most people might disagree. I actually think, to use the rhetoric that I use everywhere I go, and that is, unfortunately, Black people haven't recovered from being conquered by white people, you see. And this is like a necessity of how a people group needs to rebuild. Like, you actually, like, remember, I work in marketing. When you work in marketing, you don't just like say, you've got great teeth, have some toothpaste. You have to say, no, your teeth is mashed up. Would you like some toothpaste to fix it? That's literally how it works. So, just I would say, family, consider these concepts. I'm saying, I know it sounds like super madness, but actually it comes from somewhere.
To the motherland. And then we also need to start connecting with the Indigenous Australians, the Melanesians, the Black people who are, not as easily accessible. We need to also start connecting together because this place ain't safe. So, yeah.
Think of that, sister. We'll have to.
Let's discuss.
Let's do it. I don't know if she's got. Well, she's probably been shut down or whatever. But I'll see if I can add her to the list of people to reach out to. But it's good. We need to get more people thinking like that anyway. Bring up the sister there. All right. What else we got? Any more before we start the show? What else we got? Ali interview, Black Latino, Bill Gates, knife crime, mums, Black boys. Well, this is a nice uplifting kind of thing. So.
25 Black men. That's how it started. Back in the 60s, when you called the ambulance, the police came.
Policemen were in charge of taking people to the hospital.
And they would put the person on that little stretcher.
Over the music is so old it isn't copyright, but
and throw them in the back of the paddy wagon, slam the door, and go as fast as they can. People were dying.
Freedom House was a program to hire the unemployable, some of the alcoholic and drug abuse people that they wanted to get off the streets.
And we went to school, we went through training.
It says Freedom House, America's first paramedics, started by 25 Black men.
And we did an excellent job.
When we're starting IVs in the field, doing tracheal intubation in the field.
We were the ones who changed all emergency medical services.
At that time, Black people couldn't get an ambulance. You couldn't get an ambulance into a lot of communities. We're last on the list to get service.
So the brothers in America saying that they couldn't get people on the list to be checked out and helped, so they create their own paramedics.
The whole political fight around the future of Freedom House.
But the mayor decided to put his own service in the system in opposition to Freedom House in 1975.
He really didn't like Freedom House. That's being blunt.
When you can take something from nothing and make something out of it, everybody else wants to get in on the play.
It was something that Black people had pioneered. It was taken up by the government, and then the next thing you know, taken away from us.
The city just cut the legs right out from under us.
Everybody advanced, everybody prospered, everybody made out, but none of us.
I've actually found it. Freedom House was the emergency medical service for America. Paramedics, founded in 1967. It's the same one, right? I think it's just. Let's see. It's reading. All right, let's put it in. I'll put it in the Freedom House. We should maybe try to do something on that. Let's find out more about myself. Let's see what else we've got before we start the show, Diddley-o. Anything else that might be of any kind of like that's a good one. Self-hate. What's the self-hate one? That sounds interesting. These are the kings of rock and roll. This is them for a bit.
The whole thing changed. All of a sudden we became a no-no. What is this? This is devil music. People were so slow to accept change.
You was black. Tell him again. Will you tell him, man, again? You was black, and they didn't want that black image over their kids. You was a hero. And your kids was looking up to you, and they didn't want their kids looking up at their kids. They didn't want the white kids looking up at this big old greasy black.
So you look at Bo Diddley, Little Richard, and Chuck Berry. These are seen as the three pioneers of rock and roll, as well as I think Big Mama Fulton as well, as well as maybe one or two others. here or there. But generally, definitely Chuck Berry and Little Richard down there.
That guy out of Georgia, out of Mississippi, or out of Chicago. They want their kids to see a little smooth white boy looking pretty and on duty and looking Rudy, you know. And so here's a black guy out there singing and screaming and beaming and screaming. They said, no, no, no.
Very, very charismatic. Yeah, this talk about the history of rock and roll. Like I said, you know, a lot of people forget that rock and roll is a black art form. I think African Americans are now gatekeeping more so just to make sure that people don't forget, you know, where things started and who started it. But it can really be taken away. That's why ownership's important whenever you create something. Anyway, I think I'm going to move on to the show at the moment. If there's any one or two, all right, nah, Black Latinos, nah, cool. Oh, maybe this one. I forget. I don't want to go down that path. Ooh, okay. Let's start. Present. So we're gonna. What should we start with first? Which one's got less? Maybe the Haitian Revolution. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's a 10-minute video. It's like a 8-minute video just to get people up to speed. So let's start with the Haitian Revolution. That might be a good one. 01. There we go. So what we're gonna do before we're talking about the women in the Haitian Revolution. But obviously, maybe some people might not be too aware of the Haitian Revolution. It's something that we're thinking of really expanding that because I think it ended by the 1st of January. So maybe having that as a national holiday, like, you know, Revolution Day or something. Because the Haitian Revolution was the first nation of enslaved people to rebel and win and then create an empire based upon winning against, at the time, the most powerful empire in the world. So, you know, there's just the teamwork, the strategy, and the synchronization of all the Black African descendants working in unison, which was good. It's a very good one. It's actually, there's a lot of things that go on that you can use to really paint a good picture. So this is obviously spoken from, I assume, a European perspective. Big up Brother Leon, big up Melanie Goddess and Dominic in the house. So, you know, I prefer them to do it from a Black perspective, but, you know, because they use different words. But let's just see this one because it's short. Go.
Century came to a close. A long period of clashes between the Spanish and French over the island we now know as the home of Haiti and the Dominican Republic finally ended in a solution. The Spaniards made the strategic decision to hand over the western portion of the islands to the French, birthing.
So just the history. Basically, Haiti shares an island with what they call Dominican Republic. So on the right side of the island, they speak Spanish, and on the left side they speak French or French Creole. Two different nations on the same island, and that's because of who owned the island back in the time of enslavement, and who sold the island to who. There you go.
Contemporary Haiti, known then by the French as Saint-Domingue. This newfound French colony quickly built an economy heavily reliant on sugar plantations and thus slavery. By the 18th century, not only were there more slaves sent to Saint-Domingue than anywhere else other than Brazil, but the sheer number of enslaved individuals was nearing 90% of the colony's population. To no surprise, however, numbers didn't mean much when a social hierarchy such as the one in Saint-Domingue was in place. The island hosted a society split into 4 main categories. The lowest on the totem pole.
It's interesting to see this. A big up, Sister She Reigns, because there's an argument that we have today and that will happen different different places that seem to always be a way of how people process things, and it's good to see it here as well. So this
was expectedly the vast population of slaves. Above them were poor white colonists, also known as the Petits Blancs. These were the uneducated artisans and laborers who just so happened to be white, putting them a step above the slaves, but still, in many cases, a step below the wealthy, free people of color. This third social group accounted for nearly 25,000 people at the end of the 18th century, as compared to about 30,000 whites. These rich folk often served in militias, and some even owned their own plantations and slaves, which isn't all that surprising when considering that they were generally the children or descendants of plantation owners.
So they're saying the first is the enslaved African. The second is poor white people from some nations, which petite whites, I think that stands for small whites. And then the third was the free people of color. But mainly, at least in the beginning, the free people of color would have been the majority of when the enslavers would sexually assault the African women on the plantation. A lot of them would sell their children into slavery again. Some of them didn't. Some of them actually, a very small percentage, might have let them live on the farm and take over or have some kind of authority, whatever. So the free people of color, it correlates with a lot of them would have been from that as well, if they would have any kind of ownership of any other people.
And finally, at the top of the social roster were those white plantation owners, also known as the Grand Blancs. Their role was fairly self-explanatory, and though such a small part of the population, they essentially ran it. Nevertheless, no one quite sums up the social climate in Saint-Domingue quite like the French historian Paul Fregosi.
So this is an interesting quote because we might see parallels around the world.
Whites, mulattoes, and blacks loathed each other. The poor whites couldn't stand the rich whites. The rich whites despised the poor whites. The middle-class whites were jealous of the aristocratic whites. The whites born in France looked down upon the locally born whites. Mulattoes envied the whites, despised the blacks, and were despised by the whites. Free blacks brutalized those who were still slaves. Haitian-born blacks regarded those from Africa as savages. Everyone, quite rightly, lived in terror of everyone else.
So there's a lot of things said there about race, class, and where a person's born, but essentially you had people of mixed heritage, one black parent, one white parent, longing to be white or to be next to white, but being despised by white, and obviously despising black, so they didn't really want to identify within themselves. And then you had black people, Haitians who were born on the island, who would learn French, would be culturally different from fresh new African enslaved people coming from the continent, and they will look down upon them. So you see this today. You see how easy it is for people to have a hatred. And I think what the Haitian Revolution did that was amazing was how it would unite all the African descendants as well as other surrounding groups who wanted to have freedoms and stuff. So let's carry on listening.
Haiti was hell, but Haiti was rich. Haiti was, in fact, notably rich, something that would prove crucial in instigating later unrest. In fact, it was the most profitable colony in the entire Caribbean and French colonial empire. Which, speaking of the empire, it was the events of the French Revolution and the formation of the French First Republic that really stirred the pot in Saint-Domingue. Over in France, on August 26, 1789, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen was published. For the French Caribbean colony, this document mostly just caused confusion. The National Constituent Assembly had failed to clarify whether the rights would apply to slaves, colonial citizens, or even women for that matter. These issues of the French Revolution quickly leaked over into Saint-Domingue, and this sparked a new wave of racial and societal tensions. The white citizens of the colony were concerned by the declaration as they were focused on maintaining their power and authority, and it thus created a new push for colonial independence among the Blancs. Contrarily, the slaves and their free allies saw a need to now demand equality and rights for themselves, particularly without allowing their masters to win independence for Saint-Domingue. So, as anger amplified and disputes arose, the revolution began to stir. On August 21st, 1791, a slave revolt broke out in the colony as thousands of slaves began to murder.
So this first breakout might have actually been motivated by a woman. I think we'll learn about it afterwards. Yeah, I think Dutty Bookman might have been a part of this, but I think even it might have been a woman who initiated it. So a black woman, of course.
Murder their master that night following an ominous voodoo ceremony. Saint-Domingue was plunged into violent chaos as this rebellion
That ceremony is what the woman led.
Spread rapidly, despite the Blancs having expected some type of revolt to happen in the coming weeks. The slaves were quick to start taking territories over piece by piece, in spite of any preparation made by the Blancs, and the brutality of the growing civil war reached new heights in short time. Over 100 sugar plantations would be destroyed in the next couple of months, and roughly 4,000 slave owners metaphorically went up in flames with them. Nearly 1,000 coffee plantations, another significant source of the colony's economy, were also leveled by the rebellious slaves as the Blancs scrambled to come together and form an organized defense. As the insurgency continued, the National Assembly finally realized that it was time to act. The slaves had been seizing large chunks of the colony, and the death toll on both sides was rising in the thousands. Since the rebels had claimed that they were fighting for their rights as Frenchmen, not for Haitian independence, the Assembly decided in the spring of 1792 to grant civil and political rights to all free men, including those of color, hoping that this would calm the rebellion. The backup plan, of course, was a few thousand French troops sent to the colony. The following year would see France's backup plan become exceedingly necessary, as the small-scale revolt had now transformed into war with both Britain and Spain. The latter already controlled the neighboring portion of the island, and thus had reason to get involved in the debacle, though, selfishly, Spain supported the rebels for their own gain. They hoped to weaken the French, and thus provided ammunition.
One thing this narrative doesn't speak about, I'm sure, is because of Spain and England hatred for each other, the war, how Haitians negotiated between the two, knowing that they didn't like each other, was like a military genius, really, from Toussaint Louverture, and I think Jean-Jacques as well, maybe. This was a very this ability to realize that your enemy's enemy could be your ally for now, but also you're playing both sides of stuff. This kind of went on.
Supplies and even tactical advice for the slaves, but so did the British. For Britain, the motive was too an opposition to the French, but also potential monetary gain from France's most lucrative colony. Neither Britain nor Spain actually cared much about the slaves themselves or their cause, but the support they gave the rebels, nevertheless, had France near its knees. Something had to be done. France's answer was based on the goal of securing Saint-Domingue and shaking off the Brits and the Spaniards. Thus, in early 1794, a decree was passed announcing that slavery of the blacks is abolished in all the colonies. Consequently, it decrees that all men living in the colonies, without distinction of color, are French citizens and enjoy all the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. This was a shocking move for everyone in the geographical and political audience, but France was convinced that it would be their only way to retain their portion of the island. And for now, it worked. Unfortunately for the French, however, such victories are often short-lived. Tensions may have calmed quite a bit, but the idea of Haitian independence had never fully been erased from imagination. And a certain man by the name of Napoleon Bonaparte was about to bring the concept back to the forefront. Saint-Domingue post-Phase 1 of the revolution saw one of the rebellion's leaders, Toussaint Louverture, consolidate authority and steer the colony in the direction of growing autonomy. Louverture furthermore issued a new constitution for Saint-Domingue in 1801, which declared him governor for life and decreed the establishment of a new autonomous black state. This triggered a strong response from the new leader over in France. Napoleon sent a significant expeditionary force under his brother-in-law Charles Leclerc to handle the situation in their colony. though many believe this was also related to Bonaparte's ambitions in North America, which required an increase in revenue that could be found on the Haitian island. Either way, Leclerc and his men were on their way to Saint-Domingue. When the Frenchmen arrived at Le Cap, the Haitians set the tone for the clash that was to come. As Leclerc attempted to diplomatically pressure Haitian commander Henri Christophe into surrendering the city, the locals responded by burning their own city, angering the French. But Leclerc had the goal of summoning Louverture to Le Cap, and thus sent him kind messages, including the following: "Have no worries about your personal fortune. It will be safeguarded for you, since it has been only too well earned by your own efforts. Do not worry about the liberty of your fellow citizens." Louverture, nevertheless, refused to obey the French, and thus, war broke out yet again. The Haitians quickly resorted to a scorched earth policy, with Louverture explaining to Jean-Jacques Dessalines that he hoped that those who have come to reduce us to slavery may have before their eyes the image of the hell which they deserve. One French general even described the scene left by the Haitians after classes, often resulting in the leaving out of French corpses to rot and hopefully to send shivers down the invaders' spines. The following couple of years would see the capture of Louverture and the continued fight for freedom between the Haitians and Napoleon's men. For the Haitians, this was a fight for their liberty and sovereignty, while for the French, it was all about control and the re-establishment of slavery to their own advantage. The result of the war would be in favor of the former. On January 1st, 1804, Saint-Domingue's current authority, Dessalines, declared Haitian independence as a free republic under the name already used by the local population, Haiti. The Haitian genocide followed, with the murder of nearly all remaining Blancs within the territory, and Dessalines daringly stating that, for our Declaration of Independence, we should have the skin of a white man for parchment, his skull for an inkwell, his blood for ink, and a bayonet for a pen. But despite the immorality that remained high on the side of whoever had controlled Haiti over the past decades, the Haitian people had accomplished much. The Free Republic became the first of its kind in Latin America, and the only nation that won its independence through a successful slave rebellion. Though the revolution may have been marred by extreme brutality on both sides.
I understand. You can tell this is obviously a European telling of the Haitian Revolution.
As were the ways of the authority prior to and following, Haiti's independence was a remarkable accomplishment. And today, while all that has occurred in those years should be remembered, it's important not to forget the bravery and ambition that it took for freedom to shine its light on the Haitian people.
Right, yeah, so that's a quick update of the Haitian Revolution. I mean, it was a very quick thing. Much was missed out, to be honest. And definitely that's why we need to get media people who specialize in filmmaking and script writing to actually write that into a plausible play, whatever, or a film, whatever. But yeah, so that's a crash course in the Haitian Revolution. Very important. It never before has enslaved people been able to beat armies upon armies and waves of attacks from the enslavers, guerrilla tactics and negotiations and sheer will and being synchronized in thought and strategy, as well as having the women and children be on board with how to live and fight and all that for freedom. It was an amazing feat. Definitely something you should study. But once again, freedom came for them on the 1st of January. So saying if that should not be like a universal black holiday of some kind, like Revolutionary Day or something, I don't know. Something, if it isn't already, we should be. But also, what was I thinking as well? Forgot something important though. Yeah, so Revolutionary Day, whatever. But yeah. So now what we're going to focus on now is obviously the women's role. Like I said, there was much. I've got 2 videos, but I think the sister who tells it is quite a raw telling. I don't know if it's the best thing to play. So let me play the guys one. Where is it? Stop share or hide this. You can just get this out of the way. Hide. There you go. Right. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for videos. Yeah. Let's see. So now we're going to look up some of the sisters in the history. Let's look at this gentleman. I might play hers next, maybe. I think it's this one. Shit. I'm going to skip it to where it gets to the women. So it's there we go. Let's go 4 seconds before that.
So, after this period, during this period, Haitian society started to organize the revolution. Because at the same time, the French Revolution was happening, and Haiti also started its revolution. And at that time, women didn't just stay and say, okay, let's them and fight. We had Sanit Belair, that woman you see here. She was one of the biggest fighters we had in our history. She was one of the people who led the battle for the independence, Sanit Belair. And that woman you see here is Catherine Flon. She's the one who decided that she wanted to have a flag. While we are battling, we are fighting, she decided we need a flag. And then she was the one who took the decision to create the flag for Haitian. That means we still see, even before the colonization, we had a woman, and then during the colonization also we had, and during the battle for the independence, we had also women playing the role. One of the women that many Haitians even don't know about, it's Cécile Fatiman. Cécile Fatiman is one of the Haitians that they don't really mention in history book, but she was one of the most important people also for the independence, because before we started the independence, we had like a ceremony, a voodoo ceremony. That's where the independence really started. So she was a voodoo creatress that started this battle, and she was responsible to not only motivate the troops, but also to heal them when they are sick and whatever. So she was also very, very important in the history of the country. Now, after the independence, what happened? There was like a gap. Independence, women go back to house, nothing, they don't have any right.
Yeah, so that was, and let me just, this one's a bit more raw. This sister telling she's talking more so about the women and children, I think, on the battlefield. This one was maybe a bit too raw. Hold on. Where's the sister? So those who are joining, we're talking about the Haitian Revolution start and the women's roles in it. I've also posted a link to Catherine Fallon, Sanity Belair, and Adabara Toya, which is Victory Matu, as well as Cécile Fatiman. So there's a link if you want to. There's a link to the women in the Haitian Revolution if you want to read. But this is now talking about some of the grim realities of war. Yeah.
In a very few words, if there is one revolution we could say was run by women, it is the Haitian Revolution. When you take into consideration, and this is not an exaggeration, Toussaint Louverture, who's a main initiator of all of this, most French official who wrote about him continuously said he fought like a woman. But of course he never said why. The reason is very simple. He was taught to fight by women from Dahomey. That's who trained Toussaint on his fighting skills. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was raised by his aunt Toya, an Amazon from Dahomey, who from the time he was a tiny little boy, his aunt continuously told him, "You must do for this land what I could not do for Dahomey." So the two main people in the revolution of Haiti, trained by women militarily. Besides this, from Toussaint Louverture himself, letters that he wrote, he said every troop was made of 1/3 women. 1/3 of every troop was 1/3 of every battalion, if we could say, was made of women. And there was a large percentage of children also.
It's up there. So let me just share screen. Stop. Present. Share screen. This is my new choose. Is it choose tab? Let's try window. Choose window. I think that should work. Yep. Share this window, please. It worked. There you go. So yeah, this for those who can't see the screen. This is some of the sisters. Give me that. In the Haitian Revolution. Haitian Revolution has been described as the largest, most successful slave rebellion in modern history, led by Toussaint Louverture and after his death, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. The people were enslaved initially. The revolt was in 1791, and by 1903, they had brought not only the end of slavery, but to French control over the colony and Saint Domingue, now Haiti as a whole. Haiti became the first black republic in the world. That's why this stuff should be remembered, family. And the second nation in the Western Hemisphere, the other being the United States, to defeat a European power for its independence. But the thing is, they were enslaved, so that's where the unique thing there. But have you heard of the Haitian Revolution women? So Cecile Fatima, sold by a white father into plantation in Saint Domingue. Cecile was a voodoo high priestess who maintained the ritual and relationship between spirits, and during at night she would travel to plantations after plantation, convincing both the people who were enslaved and the Maroons to attend Boris Common in the forest. This ceremony acted as both a religious ritual and a meeting to plan the uprising that became the Haitian Revolution. Not only was Cecile indispensable in the creation of Haiti, she went to become the first lady after marrying the president Louis Michael. I'm saying Perrick, a former soldier of Haitian Revolution. She lived to be 112. Was that the president? Is it the first to become the first lady after marrying the president? Okay, cool. And yeah, so this is another sister, Victoria Montu. Originally from, so a lot of the Haitians were from Dahomey. If you've seen, there's a film that came released the other day. What is it called? I watched it. I can't remember the name. I'm shame on me, but it was about the Amazonian warrior women, and it was starring is it Angela Davis? Yeah, I'm sure it's Angela Davis. Yeah. So this came out. So check that out. But this is from, and a lot of the brothers and sisters were actually from certain parts, similar parts. Then you have. You must forget, I'm butchering these names. Sanity Belair, Susan Sanity Belair was a young, free black woman. Haiti in Haiti, she married two sons. Okay, she married the nephew. Okay, there you go. So yeah, but anyway, we've put the link there, brothers and sisters. So check that out. We're gonna jump to the next topic. Very important topic we're dealing with. Talking of women in the Haitian Revolution. But obviously, so many people might not be too familiar with the Haitian Revolution itself. So again, that's the wrong one. So getting up to, what is that thing going on? So getting up to grips with the Haitian Revolution is important, and then we can find out information around that. But definitely one of the things we're talking about was because the revolution ended on the 1st of January, having January itself for the 1st of January be a black holiday worldwide, Revolution Day, Liberation Day, or something. I think we should definitely push that. I think it's a very, 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 very good idea. Yeah. So what else? I'm trying to find my screen share again. I mean, this new technology they're using isn't the best, but I have to get used to it. There we go. Try that one. So what we're gonna. So those who know, unfortunately, there was a younger brother who was in Dubai, and he was arrested in the 18-year-old, very young, for a year. It could have been 20 years, apparently, but it was a year. And this was because he married an Indian girl, and they had relations, and the mother found out and wasn't best pleased. So she waited for them to go to the UK. Then because he was still there with his parents, she rang the authority and reported him, because over there you can't have intimate relations if you're not married, especially age stuff as well. So that wasn't best pleasing. But the brothers are currently in Dubai, and he's in there with very, very the high security, high criminal of Dubai. Some of the worst apparently, which is never good. But anyway, yeah. So for those who don't know that is, but let me play some videos around this so we can see. Yeah, what have I got? What have I got? Let's see this one. Not that one. This one maybe.
This morning, so which
But yes, the Viola Davis. Did I say Viola Davis? It's called The Woman King. Sorry, the last photo and Viola Davis. I hope I said Viola Davis. Sometimes I might have said something like Angela Davis, something silly, but I'm getting Angela Bastian mixed up. I hope I didn't say that. Viola Davis, one of the best actors in Hollywood, so check her out. She's also what's that superhero lady? She played. I actually like that character. What's her name? She does the Suicide Squad. Amanda Waller, I think her name is. Maybe I call her Amanda Davis. I can't. Yeah, Amanda Waller. I think that's her name. Yeah, best character in DC. Anyway, where we? Let's go back to the brother, unfortunately, who's been arrested.
Papers yesterday. It's been brewing for a while. Case in Dubai involving a British boy. He's 18. He's called Marcus Fakana, 18 years old. He's from Tottenham. He was out there at the back end of the summer with his parents, and he met another British girl who was 17. She's 18 now, but she was just a few months younger than him. And they basically had a holiday romance. And she came home with her parents a few days before he was due to leave, and her mother found out that the couple had slept together. And her reaction was to telephone the Dubai police and inform them that this sexual relationship had taken place, which of course is completely illegal in this country. I mean, if it had happened under the stars in Devon or Cornwall on a summer holiday, we wouldn't raise an eyebrow. But in Dubai, you have to be 18 if you're going to have consensual sex. There's no suggestion that the sex that they had wasn't consensual. It was. However, under the law in Dubai, he was arrested and he was found guilty yesterday, and he is spending a year in one of Dubai's most notorious high-security prisons with rapists, murderers and terrorists. What can we do about this?
Well, it's a very brutal case.
He feels abandoned, basically, is what he's saying, and his parents are saying.
I mean, I don't understand what the mother was trying to do. I mean, clearly, that was the mother of the girl calling up the Dubai authorities.
Would she have done it to her own son?
That's extraordinary, and I don't know what's going on there. The problem is that they've got very strict rules. I've just actually been there over the last few days. Obviously, great economic growth, but it's a very authoritarian country, and the rules are the rules. And if you fall one side of them, then they come down on you very hard. Now, I'm sure that the lad in question probably didn't know that.
They didn't know. They had no idea that they were in breach.
And that's the problem. But it doesn't surprise me, I'm afraid, that those authorities take such a sort of hard line on that kind of transgression. The rules, very rule-based autocracy.
What do you make of it?
I mean, it's a bewildering story, really, isn't it?
Yes,
actually,
yes.
I mean, it's so sort of from what we're in the UK, and as you said, our rules here, it just sounds.
And around most of the world. I mean, Europe, America, Australia, you name it.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a very strict regime.
There's a picture of the gentleman there, the young man.
However, the UK government, I would hope, would be making urgent representations to Dubai. And actually, I think, did you say they're from Tottenham? Well, if it's from Tottenham, that means that
David Lammy,
he's the foreign secretary. So
getting stuck in.
I think that's the channel that you would go through. But you've got to acknowledge, because what they'll be very sensitive of is the coverage. They're very, very sensitive of that. But at the same time, they want to show that they are a rule of law, very strict.
They do. And it feels a conversation might need to happen with the families involved as well as to why the calls were made. It's
That's all very bizarre.
Complex.
Well, there's some people speculating that maybe race played a part in it, him being of African descent, the girl being of Indian descent. There is that there is a hierarchy of hatred in the UK, and unfortunately, black descent, African descent will be the lowest, and many other. Like I said, I never think you should hate any group, no. But what I would say is, many Asian communities are very strict on wanting their children to be with the same community. I think we could adapt that policy to some degree, but also there's a hierarchy, and if you're not going to be with an Asian or whatever, definitely don't with a black person, and that's what seems to play out here. I could be wrong, but it seems a very particular thing, like to wait till you leave the country, then ring the authorities in Dubai. See, Dubai is a country that doesn't really play like that, really. And I don't know if I would do that to an enemy, like, you know, but I don't know what they'll feel. But they definitely waited for them to leave the country, because both the young man and the young woman will both be arrested. So they clearly did it when, you know, I don't want to speculate, but I suspect that was definitely the plan, to wait till they leave, then ring. If he was a white man, well, that's the thing. Not only would she have rang, if she did, would the response be the same? That's always one of the questions some people might bring up.
I don't know what's going on.
There's something
there.
going on.
Yes, that's right.
Should we have a moment? Should we have a moment of lightness?
Right, I've actually got the protest, but I mean, I didn't blackify it by mistake, so I hope it's not copyright or anything. Let's see. No, I can stop it for a bit.
What's happening is a travesty. I'm very disappointed.
This is his family.
In David Lammy. Marcus is a British citizen. Yes, he did something wrong, but it was minor, and he should not be paying the price at 18 of being in a high secure prison in a foreign country.
So he went to a foreign country on holiday, not knowing that what he was doing was against the country's laws.
It's because we can all see ourselves in Marcus. It cuts us deep because it feels like we've lost another person to the prison system.
Am I surprised that there isn't outrage? No, he's a young black boy. I think it'd be very different if he wasn't melanated. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, he's a young boy, you know, just like an ordinary, normal teenage boy in the UK. Is very sad because he's still a child, really.
Marcus Fakana from Tottenham spent New Year's Eve in solitary confinement in a Dubai prison after being arrested over a holiday romance. He has been sentenced to a year in jail for having consensual sex with a 17-year-old girl, another Londoner, who is also out there on holiday. Legal in the UK, this is not allowed in the UAE. The 18-year-old's friends and family are calling for the UK government, including Marcus's own constituency MP, David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, to intervene in the case. We spoke to them at their march and demonstration in Westminster on Saturday.
So why are you here today protesting? Why is it important for you to be here?
It's important for us to be here to show solidarity with Marcus and his loved ones while they navigate a very turbulent and difficult time. Obviously, we accept the sentencing reluctantly, obviously. What we would like to do is for there to be greater empathy and mitigation and leniency to help bring him home. He's currently in a place where he doesn't speak the language, you know, he's not used to the culture, and so we want to make sure that his rights are protected as much as possible.
Because here is not really against the law what happened there. So if he comes back here, so he can be with his family and, you know, he still has his life ahead instead of being locked there for a year. So yeah, that's like a waste of time for him there.
I want them to get Marcus home. Deals can always be done. You can't say that you can't step in. Governments have stepped in before. I haven't seen enough national coverage on it. I haven't seen enough outrage on it.
He broke that law, given his age and the lack of awareness. I think more could have been done so that he could have get a sentence which is not as heavy as what he has received.
And it could be any of us. And we've all been, those of us who are over 18 have all been 18 before. We understand that certain decisions, whether rightfully, wrongfully, legally or illegally, can transform the rest of your life. But at a stage where you haven't even developed certain emotional, physical, mental maturities to either face the law or even endure whatever they think is punishment.
Although he's an adult, but he's still a teenager, and he's just a young boy who went on holiday, did something silly, and it's costing him his life now.
Race is often always a factor in these issues. I think he's black, he's male, and he's young, and all those factors are held against him, and so he's held to a different standard. And if he was a young white male, I think it would be a very different outcome.
What do you want to see the government do then?
It would be nice to see the government just apply pressure. I mean, we are a G7 country. We are one of the key players on the global scale. There must be something. There must be some power to our voice to be able to get Marcus home. Not only that, to comfort the family, to show the family that they're doing all they can, and we won't take this just lying down. We need to.
As a British citizen.
For those joining, we're looking at the brother Marcus, who's a young 18-year-old man who was had a romance with an Indian, I believe, an Indian or Pakistani, Asian lady in Dubai, which is against the law. And the parents found out of this lady, and then waited for them to leave, and then rang the authorities, and that's what he's now been arrested. I think it could have been 20 years, but it's 1 year. So that's I guess that's a blessing in that sense.
Just lying down. We need to make sure, we need to see and feel confident that people are doing what they can for Marcus. We need to make sure that the state, that the UK is behind Marcus.
It makes you worry about his mental well-being. You know, the person that went on holiday.
Yeah, his mental well-being will be pretty much affected if he's there now, so unfortunately.
It's very unlikely to be the same person that comes home.
And what should David Lammy be doing in this case?
He could intercede. He's the Foreign Secretary. He could ask for clemency. He could ask that that sentence be revoked, and that what happens is he's sent home. There are lots of things he could ask for. And isn't David Lammy the MP for Tottenham?
He is the MP for Tottenham.
Aren't you supposed to represent and support your constituents? So, yeah.
David Lammy, Marcus's MP in Tottenham and the UK's Foreign Secretary, said, "It is the case wherever you are in the world, and that's why the Foreign Office makes clear on its website what the rules are, that you follow the rules and the law according to that country."
What do you think?
Right, David Lammy, boy, he's not doing himself any favours.
Of his stance in this situation?
I think he's pathetic. I think he's useless. I think he should give up the job. You know, he doesn't serve any purpose. You know, he's the MP for the area that Marcus lives in, and he doesn't have anything to say. But yet he's supposed to represent Marcus's borough. He's useless.
Justice for Marcus! Stand up! Speak up! Justice for Marcus! Stand up! Speak up! Justice for Marcus! Stand up and speak up!
Most unfortunate. So yeah, that's brother Marcus. He's over there now in Dubai for a year. It looks like. Was there anything else I had? Let's check. Nope. No. Well, this gentleman tried to read out something. Let's see what he says. This is some of the opinions of some of the people.
So our brother Marcus has been sentenced to 1 year in prison in Dubai or in the UAE. Now, we did do a video before covering this situation previously. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out now. All of the money made in that video will be donated to Marcus or his family. Has it been donated yet? No, I'm going to let the video sit there for like another week or so, and then I'm going to see what I can do. And the same for this video. All of the money this video makes will be donated to Marcus. So I'm not going to go over the situation again, but there's an update. He's been sentenced to 1 year in prison. The organization which helps foreigners abroad and is an international authority on UAE law added that Fakana felt abandoned by the British government. I told you guys David Lammy was going to do nothing. David Lammy is I can't even say that on camera because I might get arrested for that. That's how messed up the system is. A UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office spokesperson said, "We are supporting a British man in the UAE and are in contact with his family." The Dubai Public Prosecutor's Office has been approached for comment, but previously said its legal system is committed to protecting the rights of all individuals and ensuring impartial judicial proceedings. Rada Sterling, the founder and chief executive of Detained in Dubai, said Fakana, who has been unable to leave the country since September, was desperately hoping to return home this week. Prosecutorial mishandling in the first stages of the case meant it wasn't heard as a misdemeanor when it should have been, she said. Family have issued a plea to Dubai ruler H.H. Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum, I hope I said that right, I think I did good on that, to spare Marcus for consensual sex with another British citizen. Ms. Sterling told the BBC that the teenager would be deported following his sentence. Well, good, brother, I wouldn't want to go back there. She added, "I'm not sure that this is the law that they should be upholding to this extent. A custodial sentence for a consensual sex with two people, tourists who were only supposed to be there for a short time, does not warrant a year in jail, doesn't warrant tearing his family apart and ruining an 18-year-old's life." She previously said that his parents don't know what to do and had to return to London with their son to resume their jobs as a cleaner and in a warehouse. So first of all, fuck the BBC. Pricks. Fuck you lot anyway. And second off, Marcus, I think this is a major W, my bro. Hear me out. In this video, I'm going to come off as more lighthearted because I'm relieved for him and his family. It may not feel like it now, but trust me, you have just dodged a bullet. You have been given a second chance at life. Because this could have been way worse. And I expected it to be way worse. Because you're only 18 years old, but you've learned very early that life is not fair. Because is this fair? No. Do I like Dubai, UAE? No, I can't stand the place. You're 18, the year in jail is going to be bad. Jail does change people. Jail is really bad. Jail has long-lasting traumatic effects on people. I really hope he doesn't have that rough a time in there. He must be terrified right now. He must be very, very terrified. Like, I can't even imagine how you're feeling right now at 18, looking at a year in prison in a foreign country like Dubai or UAE, you know, whatever. But later on in life, Marcus, you're going to look back and think, I really dodged a bullet. And you've learned a lot of lessons, my bro. You've learned a lot of lessons. Lesson number one, if this was a black woman, this wouldn't have happened. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. Lesson number two, you've learned that as
Interesting point. If you know, he's saying that maybe if Marcus was with a sister, this wouldn't have escalated that way.
a black man, no matter what your age, once you are officially a black man, the system will eat you alive, no matter what country you're in. It's the same everywhere. No difference. So
I was highlighting that being identified as black or connected to black in any kind of way, regardless of where you go, you're going to face some kind of hardship. That's something that I would definitely promote. I think there's value in it, and this is how you know. There's two things you said there. Maybe sticking more so to your own women for many important reasons, but two, knowing that collectively black people have no friends. You see, so it all correlates with the ideology we were talking about here.
His family must be very upset. He must be obviously losing his mind. But for me, as someone who cares about the situation and is very empathetic towards him, obviously, because this could be my younger brother, you know what I mean? I think this is a great outcome. Honestly, I think it's a great outcome because it could have been a lot worse. And your life is far from over. You haven't got a criminal record in the UK, right? First of all, you're gonna come out at 19. And a jail is gonna be a rough experience. It's not gonna be easy, but his life is far from over. He's gonna come out at 19. You've still got so much life to give, so much life to lead. Anyone who's older will tell you the same thing. When I was 19, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know I would be who I am now. And brother, when you get out, if you're obviously not seeing this now, but if a family member's seeing this, I'm telling you, if I make waves with this content creation thing, I will put you on if I'm in a position to do that, brother. I will. And not how everybody asked me to put them on, bruv. Shut up before you say that, right? Like, when you get out, you will not be alone. That's number one thing, because as a man, you feel alone. And in that prison cell, I can't think of a place where you'll feel more alone than in there, in another country, bro. So when he gets out, I think goal number one should be to make sure that he doesn't feel alone, because he's not a bad kid, and he's got family who loves and cares about him around him, which a lot of black people from the UK can't say that, unfortunately. So it's going to be traumatic. It's going to be a lot of trauma.
Yeah, so he went on holiday with his family, his mother and father. I think them, and I don't know if they spent a lot of their money trying, because they've got very I think they really saved up to go to Dubai, and it was like it was a family trip. So and I don't know if they've spent quite a bit of money to try to get him out, especially they're not really making that much. That's what that. So yeah, hold on.
But as a man, he will get over that trauma. His family and myself, I'll do what I can if I can, we'll help you get over that trauma, Marcus, man. You know what I mean? When you're home. So yeah, that's an update on the situation, guys. It is upsetting, but I'm happy about the outcome, because it could have been a lot worse. They're going to ask the leader of Dubai, David Lammy ain't going to do anything. I don't think anything's going to happen. People are going to forget about this. I'm not going to forget about it, Marcus. So I've been thinking about you. You've been in my mind. You're going to come out still a young man full of potential. Do not let prison kill your potential. I know it's easier said than done. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below.
All right, so that's let's bring up that brother there. Follow his page, Marcus Fakana case study. We discussed why Marcus Fakana was arrested in Dubai. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about this Asian family that sent him. Don't know the motives. I mean, I guess some people can be shocked and devastated. Would you have done that? I'm not too sure. I think she definitely wanted some kind of arrest. Yes, it's not best pleasing. So today, what do we focus on? We looked at women in the Haitian Revolution. We discussed the black women's contribution in the Haitian Revolution. We showed that, women were a big part, whether it was from the planning stages, the ceremony stages, the design of the flags, fighting in the guerrilla warfare, being smaller and more stealthier, getting in first to disable some of not tanks, but cannon weapons and stuff. Women played a very big part, and a lot of the women were from the Dahomey, which was a place that trained women how to fight anyway. the empire, the Dahomey Empire. So yeah, we see that women play a big part, and we definitely want to make sure the black woman always gets her props. And the Haitian Revolution is an amazing concept because reality, sorry, because most things you have Africans who were fresh from Africa, you had Africans who were born in Haiti, the land there. You had Africans of mixed heritage. You had women, of course. You had the whole spectrum of black excellence and that kind of stuff. You also had, after the war was won, Haiti sent out troops all over the world. I think Colombia, maybe even America as well. They sent troops all that to help other revolutions, and they wouldn't help anyone who didn't get rid of slavery. So yeah, I think it's a good case to have the Haitian Revolution, the 1st of January, Revolution Day, or we'll think of a name or something, but something where it represents, I guess, unity and fighting back and overcoming and stuff like that, which is amazing. Then we looked at, unfortunately, Marcus Fakana case study. The young brother, 18 years old, he was with a 17-year-old who's 18 now. They had a romance in Dubai, and the lady of Asian descent's parents found out, wasn't best pleased, rang the authority after they've left to go back to England, and had the young 18-year-old man arrested for, could have been anywhere between 20 years, but he got a year. And obviously his family ain't best pleased. They've tried to protest, but nothing has come from it. David Lammy represents his constituency, his area. But David Lammy, we've already got images of David Lammy and most other politicians where I think we've come to understand that once you become a politician, you might not necessarily have the connections or motivations to do anything directly for people with your community background. So yeah, this is, and I couldn't tell you the next step for that brother. He should expect to do a year, and hopefully he will not be harmed in that year, and he can learn from it. But yeah, we covered it. We also looked at small individual videos. Those who are joining, I'm going to be reaching out to this sister here.
From TikTok Live speaking about black liberation and the fact that I believe that black people should be able to have their own things without other races infiltrating our culture, our traditions, our lifestyles. We should be able to have our own black banks, our own black universities, our own black dentists, our own black dentist surgeries without there being a problem, without being called separatists or.
Yeah, so I was going to say that, how we word things can be helpful, and I definitely support the sisters' motivation. And so I can reach out. It's good to get as many people think alike together to see, if what could happen. Also, I think I also mentioned, which also correlates with this, was I was being given, I'm not playing the audios, but a white gentleman approached me. What did he approach me? What was it even about? Let me just see if I can. My phone's a bit dodgy, man. Let me log in. What was that brother talking about anyway? Make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope. Let me see if I can check my messages. No, let's look back into my account. Just gonna see what he was even talking, because sometimes we just talk about. Let me just look. Hold on. I don't think he'll mind. General. This is him. What did he say? What was the first thing he said? Hold on. You won't be able to hear it. This.
Another thing is,
hold on.
You alluded to there, like.
Hold on.
Yo, brother, what's happening, mate? Hope you're well. Yeah, bro, it's just easy to respond to your questions like this, bro. It's just like fucking.
Sorry about swearing.
Like they're not easy answers. You know what I'm saying? I could speak for 5 minutes on this stuff, let alone typing. But
yeah, I don't know if people want to be heard, and I will respect people's wishes, but I was trying to find out what was he even contact. I'll be honest, the majority of things that why people contact me, really, I'll be honest, like, because most things I say, people just let it go and have it. It's usually connected to why black men should marry black women, to be honest, or maybe why black people should focus on black economics. Maybe that might be something he jumped in. Because with people, they've got pictures like, the sun, dark stars or whatever. I wanted to find out that they're actually white people, and that, okay. for the white people. But the question what I was getting to was, we've never. This show is for black people, and we case study Europeans and white people and other people just for us to learn and all sorts. But we've never actually invited a non-black person on as a case study. And I was thinking that might be an idea. Like obviously, this gentleman was trying to, no doubt, he said what a lot of the other people say, like we've got to come together and the rich against the poor, all that good stuff. And we're all one, and Illuminati and all that nice stuff he was saying. But I was say, yeah, that sounds good. But I think the stance right now is we want black people to come together, and we want to have ownership, just like the sister's saying. And what you'll find is if you don't get banned, you do get this kind of like sympathetic non-black person, kumbayaris, whatever. And I think actually saying no, that's not what I'm recommending anymore. I'm recommending that black people actually come together and do something. And I think he was quite critical about Brother Umar as well. So that's probably what why I said so, right, if I can remember. I think that's what it might have been. But yeah, and trying to set up some conversation maybe. And I think I just so people don't think I'm blindsiding them, let them know that my stance is collectively black people have no friends, and I would like them to help me if they want to help push that message, whether you're black or not. That I think it's a good message to promote to black people. And that hopefully should drive the reasons why you need to do so. But talking to the sister to help her out with language, what she could use.
Divisionists, or we're just as bad as the racists we are accusing. I got banned for that. And then when we speak about this stuff, when we speak about black liberation, you get people going, oh, what about Martin Luther King? You're a separatist.
She goes on about it. Let me go on about that. So yeah, I'll see if I can find these kind of sisters and give, maybe invite them on the show. That'd be good. And then have strategies of how to talk about liberation or collective ideas without actually being kicked off platforms. And that's the thing. What part of the case study I want to do when I do invite Europeans on or Arabs or anyone is this consistent theme I see of when like we insist we want to help you. So you'll say, thank you, good sir. We don't really need too much help at the moment. And then they start insisting, and then they go from insisting and say, well, actually, you're a racist by not allowing me to join. And this is a very peculiar behavior I see quite a bit. But then also the strategy I give, the advice I give all brothers and sisters is to ask them their views on reparations. And also ask them, is it okay if rather than join what we do, they set up an institution dedicated to give black people reparations? And that's something that could be very handy and useful. And I've done it for many years, and every single European or Arab or whoever who said whatever has always refused to do that. And they're insisting that they want to either be involved or black people work with them to take down the Illuminati or the rich or the man or whoever it is. Right? So this is I got that kind of vibe-esque from this brother. Hold on. That's really cool. That is. Sorry. The real, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at. That's really cool. That is. Sorry, I'll play it there. Anyway, family, yeah, so let me sort of waffling because I'm actually doing two things at once now. So those are the two topics today. We've actually covered an hour. Normally we have an hour show. And after hour, we allow the things to the others to see. Maybe what I'll do is I'll show some more videos and then we'll end it. This one came up as well. This was an interesting one. So I don't know much about this American football player. I think he's an American football player. Allison, he died unfortunately 2 years ago or a year ago. But I think he's married to a white woman, and I think she's making a book, and I think his family are not best.
You can have a partner like Allison Holger. She's the wife of the beloved Stephen Twitch Boss, and she's now catching all the heat online for exposing some of her late husband's alleged demons.
There was a lot of things I discovered in our closet that I did not know existed.
Now, Allison is also the mother of their 3 kids and has been spilling tea about Twitch, including his alleged addictions and childhood traumas that he was battling with.
He was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put it on anyone.
It all comes, of course, as Allison is preparing to release a memoir in February, but her actions ain't sitting well with Twitch's close friends and family. Courtney Ann Platt was one of those friends who went straight to social media slamming Allison's actions, saying this is by far the most tacky, classless, opportunistic act I have ever seen in my entire life. Courtney even went on to expose Allison for making a $10 attendees, including Twitch's own mother, signed an NDA to attend his funeral. Another friend of Twitch, Emmanuel Hurd, fired shots at Allison as well online, saying she was lying about Twitch's addictions and said that she was the one using all the drugs and then some. People online have also been heated about this story.
I understand people have to grieve how they grieve, but why tarnish that man's reputation?
Now that he is no longer here to defend himself, this woman is telling the world, the public, his deepest, darkest secrets.
So BG Squad, let me ask you, how do you feel about Allison exposing the alleged secrets of her late husband, Twitch? Let me know right now in the comments below, and honestly, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, so that's not bad. So I think that the lady's releasing some kind of tell-all book or whatever about some addictions he might not have had. Yeah, no. I don't know if this. I don't know much about the inside story, but that's not cool. You know, definitely don't do that. I don't see sisters really doing that in the community. What else we got? One other things before we go, and let me see if there's any fantastic videos that might be good. Black Latinos talk about white supremacy. Maybe I don't know. So remember that. What's this? The Economic Hitman. That one. Oh, what's this one? There? This is German genocide. That's never nice to know. But let's listen to
Hear about Germans' genocide in Namibia. But did you know that Germany once turned Africa into a laboratory, setting up experimental camps in its former colonies to carry out medical trials? Here's the story. In 1906, renowned German scientist Robert Koch traveled to East Africa to try and find a cure for trypanosomiasis disease or sleeping sickness. He set up special camps where he treated patients with antoxil, even though it was known to cause pain, blindness, and even death. One site, the Bugula camp, was treating up to 1,000 people a day with antoxil and other untested reagents. Koch's human experiments at the Bugula camp set the standard for combating sleeping sickness in Germany's African colonies. By the time Koch left the continent in October 1907, 3 camps had been established in German East Africa and 5 others in Germany's West African colonies. Practices in these camps were abhorrent. For example, test subjects were made to wear wooden identification tags around their necks or wrists. Their eyes, ears, and limbs were regularly punctured with needles to extract samples. In his desperate bid to find a cure for sleeping sickness, Koch created a racial hierarchy of experimentation, sacrificing the lives of thousands of Africans in the process. So, you might be wondering how this is all relevant today. Well, Berlin is full of statues and monuments bearing Koch's name and praising his medical accomplishments. He received the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1905 for his research on tuberculosis. He's a revered and idealized scientist, but his expedition in East Africa rarely gets a mention. Why? Well, because it sets a colonial standard that is taken for granted by Europe, namely that medical experimentation that is too dangerous to be done on Europeans can be done on Africans. In April 2020, 2 French doctors suggested that a potential vaccine for coronavirus should first be tested on people in Africa. These comments triggered an uproar, with many publicly challenging the racist idea that Africa is somehow Europe's laboratory. But these ideas did not appear from nowhere. They are a result of colonial oppression practiced in Africa in the name of medical research. And so, Koch may indeed have been a great scientist, but that doesn't change the fact that his camps in Africa were dehumanizing. And more importantly, in a pandemic-prone world, we cannot allow the rules of morality and science to be changed in Africa to suit racist doctors in Europe, even if their role models got away with it.
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, they also did a few genocides in Namibia as well. And this is why I say ancestral obligation is a good thing, where it's like Germans are not pay reparations, and there's been many scientific experiments on black populations all over the world. And I'm saying that they will still put up statues of these people, or whatever. So I'm saying that just for the ancestors' memory and stuff, why don't we have a pact or a code where it's like there's certain things we'll never do? I would say one thing that is easy is you're going to marry your own before you marry outside, because you know that it's like if they fight, you could say, well, until you get reparations, whatever, no marriage in it. And also, I want to remember those who died in vain. So there's some kind of pact I can do. But unfortunately, this is quite widespread historically. And obviously, these things happen in the past, but it's more so how it's treated today that is the eye opener, right? Like there was, the statues and films and medals and this kind of stuff for scientists who did these things. Remember, collectively, you have no friend. This is a very important ideology to remember. Keeps you grounded. What else? Speaking of, what else is there? Let me see. I guess this is economic hitman would be nice. This one as well.
Different ways, but perhaps the most common is that we will identify a third world country that has resources our corporations covet, like oil, and then arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sisters. However, the money never goes to the country. Instead, it goes to our own corporations to build infrastructure projects in that country, power plants, highways, industrial parks, things that benefit a few rich people in that country, as well as our own corporations, but do not help the majority of the people at all. And yet the whole country, is left holding a huge debt. And it's such a huge debt they can't possibly repay it. So at some point, the economic hitmen go back and say, you owe us a lot of money, you can't repay your debts, so give us a pound of flesh. When I failed to bring them around, to get them to accept these loans, to get them to put their countries into servitude, then I knew that standing right behind me were what we call the jackals. And these are people who overthrow governments or assassinate their leaders. And both Jaime Roldos of Ecuador and Omar Torrijos of Panama were assassinated by CIA-sponsored jackals because I failed to corrupt them.
Showing you that some of the techniques that some of the European nations will apply in all over the world, but Africa particularly. The economic hitmen. Yeah, it's good to collate all this stuff together to show you consistency, and hopefully that will synchronize more Black people, as in why to stay on code, maybe to try to, maybe if you're from these nations, try to fix them before you fix others. Let's look at Latinos, talk about white supremacy, see what I say.
I first discovered what black was, and then people calling people black. I remember like black, oh he's black, oh she's black. I'm like, black? They're not black, they're brown. They're dark brown, that don't make no sense. Hear my family be like, oh don't go out with somebody that's dark skinned, que no salga con un negro. Arregla la raza.
We've been colonized.
That's very important. This is something I'm discussing at the moment, but this, I can't pronounce this in Spanish, but improve the race means do not marry dark skinned people. So this is what happened in Brazil and Argentina, and by osmosis might happen in the UK, whatever, of not wanting to be with Black people or dark-skinned people, so that all your children become light and eventually white.
So poorly that we want to identify with being white so much.
So I'll read this out. I had to cover, which I found out. What did you say? This is speaking Spanish. You said I had a co-worker, which I found out that behind my back, she referred to me as a monkey. Okay, that happens a lot. The monkey. So you know that's the saddest part. That she was also Latina.
I know I always stress to my family.
So when people say Latina, you're talking about people who are, born in the Americas, in the Spanish-speaking countries. But you can break down, take or give between Afro-Latinas, European Chileans, and native Latinas or whatever. And then obviously you have admixtures, and whichever has the most phenotype, then they'll be associated with whoever's closest, whatever.
Whenever they say something like, they'll be like, Julissa, tú.
You and those Black people, Julissa.
Y eso moreno, and I'm like,
Moreno means Black people, person, not that much.
We are the moreno.
Dark skin is beautiful, and it has melanin in it, and it's most people are trying to look like you. They're going to get their hair curled, they're going to get tans, they're getting injections in their butts and in their lips. They want to look like you. So don't hate you, because everybody wants to look like you.
There's an argument going on in America at the moment with the invention of hip-hop, and Puerto Ricans are saying that, some Puerto Ricans saying that Puerto Ricans and Americans, African Americans invent hip-hop, and African Americans say no, actually it's a Black American art form that others jumped onto later on in the 70s. But one of the arguments that people might be pushing forward is hip-hop was what allowed non-black communities or other communities to jump in and hang with black people, because before there was a high amount of segregation and also despising downwards. So some Puerto Ricans, and many few, they were culturalized to never want to be around dark-skinned people, this kind of stuff. So that's what I was saying. It'd be hard for you to create something 50-50 if you didn't want to be around us. More than likely what happened, like always has happened in black spaces, but also in African American spaces as well, more so, is African Americans are not liked. They invent something that is liked, and then people jump on because they like what has been invented, and then through that there's some kind of interaction. So anyway, there you go. Little science there. I might end the show now. I might go bed too. 1.5 hours. That's not bad. Is there anything else I should play? Let me see. It's probably negative. Let me see. Oh, this was interesting. I'll play this. I think I played it really. I'll play it again in the past. Let me see.
Children are black.
So I think this is a fighter of some kind. He's got a white European wife. He's adopted 2 black children, and this is what he said.
Your adopted children are black. I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children. I'm not raising black men. I'm raising men. There are going to be tough issues that you're going to encounter with them. Maybe things that you can't relate to. How you're going to tackle stuff like that when it arises. Situations will arise. If you look at the way my boys look compared to me, you say, okay, well, their skin is dark and his skin is light. We are a biracial family. My son and sons who want to be just like me, they want to be just like me, but they know that their skin color is different than me. It's the way that God made them. We are going to look different in a lot of different ways, but we're so similar in all the ways that matter. We're just human beings on this earth, and there are certain things about being a good person that transcend skin color.
Yeah, so I've been waiting for you to cover this guy. Is he a fighter? He looks like a fighter by his nose. I could be wrong. He looks like an MMA guy. Could be wrong. I don't know much about him. What follows after this? Like, he's obviously adopted them where they're at? Are they older now? I don't know. I mean, the pictures of them crying, which is not the best picture, I guess, but he is okay. Yeah. So this interesting. Europeans or non-black people, and the first one they say is, I'm not going to raise them to be color, to be aware of color, whatever. As I'm saying already, they show you naivety of how the world works. I was talking in the group about this, and I was saying, unfortunately, black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men. So unfortunately, you can't do nothing about this apart from trying to fix the community so you minimize black children from being put in adoption. Because if they want to take your kids, they can, and they don't necessarily have to know anything about anything of any relevance of how to raise black children. The thing is, I'm also trying to get black people to raise black children with black liberation in mind and black betterment and black economics. I suspect a non-black person will not be doing that. If black people don't want to do it, I definitely say that non-black people don't want to do that. I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously, this movement is love has no color kind of stuff. Don't know why him and his wife would want to adopt 2 black children, but they know. Maybe I know that in Hollywood there's trends and stuff, and unfortunately as well, there's a lot of those the adoption people where they're adopting African or black children, and all of them seem to be wanting to be the opposite sex. I don't know if that's something that they pick up on or something that's forced on them. I don't know. I'm not there. But that's also something to be aware of. They are still young. He said he wanted to prove a point by doing this. If he says trying to prove a point, that's the worst reason to adopt children. Maybe we'll do a case study on him, or maybe we'll do one about on Europeans. The question is, can Europeans adopt black children and do a good job or a better job or a right job? Is it right? Some question. But then this might also correlate to the white people case study. Maybe we should open up the show to case study white people who co-sign this. I was saying before, those who are jumping on now, and there might be a chance where I talk to a white individual who I think his stance was black people and white people should work together, something like this. Very very generic kind of thing, but it would be good to case study why that is and what's the point. But I guess we could also cover the Europeans adopting black children and stuff. But yeah, Sounds fantastic. Anyway, family, I'm waffling now because I'm sleepy, so I'm going to go. Unless anyone wants to jump on, I'm going to end. So I've written some notes, approach his sister, see if I can help her out, or maybe invite her on the show. Write down, maybe do about adoption next week, maybe. And if there are any topics you want to cover or go over again, let us know. We'll do it because it's your show. It's the community show, so we obey what you say. Hooray! So let us know. Well, I'm going to go sleep now, but yeah, I'll make a note. Maybe black adoption is a good one, as well as a case study in Europeans who want to join. You know, and I guess the one before I go, the most important thing about that is how those types of individuals make many black men what's the word? Not docile, maybe, I don't know. Very inactive. Like, I think that unfortunately, by what European men or white people in general wanting to help quote unquote black people, you notice that a lot of the shows I do when I talk to black people who are unsynchronized, and I mention about black people come together, the first thing they do is they shout out the groups who most colonized us are Arabs or whites, and why can't they join? I think this is a sickness we need to really fix. And I think the strategy is to highlight that black people are collectively inadequate and black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men, and seeing, do we have a small group of people who want to change that? But yeah, I can't. The things I say might sound weird and odd now, but trust me, you'll see the science behind it. I'm not sure I want white people to join. Yeah, no, well, just so you know, in Black Betterment, there is no join. You have to be black to join, to be a part of what this is. But case study is a different thing. And a case study with a purpose in the sense of there will be no allyship or anything. It's literally a European is making a claim saying, I think it's a good idea for black people to do this with European people. And obviously my argument would be, that's not a good idea. And I think that there might be some indirect ulterior motives. And then I will hopefully demonstrate that through talking to someone, as the audience can see that, this is what he's talking about. And this kind of psychology is happening now. That was my goal. I've seen it. I've seen these things unravel on different platforms. Very important, very strong. And that's why Black Betterment is black people helping black people on black issues. There can be nothing else. If it ever becomes something else, it's no longer. So I guess what we're saying is someone is trying to disprove that's a good idea. And I guess what we're trying to do is prove it is a good idea. But yes, even if it's a case study, well, I hear that. And that's we hear that. Well, like I said, if the community doesn't want to have case studies of things, we will take that. We can just uphold that. I don't trust them to be real honest with their opinion. There's a show called The Cows. It's probably the best shows I've ever seen personally. Like, very few people watch it. I wonder if I can find a chat. And the thing is, because a lot of black people who do stuff, it's not really maybe what I should do is showing shows, case studying Europeans or non-black people, whatever, right? Context of white supremacy. G. I suppose his name is, I think. G-A-S. I can't find it now. Sorry, I can't do two things at once. Let's type that. Yeah, so it's called The Cows, Context of White Supremacy, right? Amazing show. I've been listening to it since probably 20 years now, but I don't know how old it is. It might be 20 years, who knows? And I'll put one link in there. Now, these shows go on for 2 hours. They're very slow pace, and I know there's some UK people who used to jump on these shows, but it was very good at when they used to invite non-black people on, and the way they would ask the questions, it was amazing. And it's almost like I would say that if you were not black, do not jump on that show, because they had a way of really finding the unconscious bias or the white supremacists or the whatever it is in so many people. And they would show patterns of behavior, and I think it's priceless. I think we should do it, but maybe we're not ready for that kind of unpacking on this show. But if you guys want to check it out, I mean, they're probably taking the show off, but I'm giving a link now to a channel that has it. But definitely take your time and listen to this show. At first, it's hard to listen to because You might not. The way they approach me is very different. But the brother's name is Gus T. Renegade, and the show's called The Cows: The Context of White Supremacy. Amazing show. Good straight. I hope the brother's doing well. Maybe if I come across him, I can support his show, because I don't think it's as big as he would like it to be, but definitely well made stuff. But something like that, I think, is important. How to unpack non-black people who allegedly want to help black people, and give black people the questions and methods of how to ask questions to clearly highlight that this is a bad idea. But anyway, that's just me. I'm going to go now, family. But yeah, we'll let you guys know. And we can also do test shows to see how things work. But ultimately, this show is black people helping black people on black issues, and the lifestyle we promote is that. And if ever we get off that, we're not doing that anymore. We're doing something else. And that ruling, that code, is to defend black people from going off course, because we're experts at going off course, especially when we start including other non-black groups into black affairs. It goes pear-shaped, 1,010% of all the time. And if you don't believe that, let's debate that. I'm sure I can win every time. Anyway, I'm gonna go, family. But see you guys next week. Until next week, black Betterment to all, and to all black Betterment. All right, black love. There you go. I'm gone.